All right, good morning, guys. Today is Wednesday, March 6th, and as usual, going over analysis for US 30, gold, and EU. Starting off with the daily bias for US 30 bullish, daily bias for gold bullish, daily bias for EU bullish, daily bias for the US dollar is bearish. So I know today we have some heavy news at 10 because we have Fed Chair Powell speaking today. So we are bound to have a lot of price movements. I would say starting at 10:30-ish because he starts speaking at 10, and I think tomorrow he's speaking as well at 10, and Friday we have NFP. So looking at even where we are with the US dollar, we might be sinking on the US dollar depending on what he says. But we do have a likelihood based off of this downtrends. But on the other hand, right, since this what he'll be talking about would be fundamentals, this can also reverse the dollar back up. And ideally, when Chairman Powell speaks, the market is normally bullish. So it's either going to be like a bullish move from the get-go, or you have like a strong bearish move and then a recovery later on in the afternoon. So today, would want you guys to be a bit careful even while looking for trades or entering trades, but we'll see what we have as time goes. So looking at where we are, we have this double SAR here, but let's see. We don't have a lot of demand here. So what I'll mark up here is this. All right. Give me 1 second. So we'll just mark this. So looking at this, we have to look at where demand is. So if we turn on the zones indicator, you can see there's this two zones that we have demand 38,664 and 38,622 area. So if we do get this, I would want something like this. So I'll go, if this trade does validate, so I would want something like this because between here and here, we just open up for manipulation. So we might close bullish here on this 15-minute candle, and then during Powell's speech, you just see a drop, that bearish move, and then a recovery to the upside. But that's the 15 minute time frame. On the 30-minute time frame, we have a break and continuation here that's currently running. So we already have that break and continuation here based off of this zone. And I think we had a 4-hour bearish. We have a 4-hour bullish order block on US 30. So I'll check that as well. So this is no longer pending since it already validated. And if we turn on our zones indicator, we want to see where buyers are sitting. So we have this small demand zone here. Based off of how it looks, I think this can easily be taken out. So this is give me 1 second. I think this one zones. That's 700. That's like a 200-point move. So I think for this trade, 786.42. I think this zone right here. So this is that trade I would be looking at on the 30. All right. So that's all right. So that's US 30 for gold. Nothing on the 15-minute based off of where price is. Nothing on the 30-minute time frame. Uh, 30.9, 21. So this would be 2130.7. Nope. So that doesn't count as well. So nothing on gold for the 15-minute and 30-minute time frame based off of where price is at. On EU, again, not really looking to take EU trades as much anymore, especially 15-minute and 30-minute. So I'll probably replace EU with something like Bitcoin. I might start trading Bitcoin on the live. If we go back here, so here we also need to measure how much, at what point somebody would be setting break even. So actually for this trade, there's no need to wait for this trade because anybody who had hopped into this trade would have already achieved a 1:1 risk to reward regardless of overextension. So never mind. So this 30-minute trade, no need to wait on that. We can still wait on, I'll leave this arrow markup because that shows up where the demand is. So if we do get another maybe test and rejection, or if we do get like a break and continuation setup, this is 38,560 is the zone where we might come to pick up liquidity on the 30-minute time frame if we do get another setup. Nothing on on gold, nothing on EU based off of where price is. US 30 on the hourly time frame here, we have a pending break and continuation on the hourly time frame right here. Pending break and continuation buy. And then if we turn on the zones, so of course we wouldn't want to buy here even if price does validate there. So you go ahead and look at the other zones here where they can come and pick up liquidity on the hourly time frame. So here, so something like that. And then we just wait for that to go. Nothing on gold on the hourly, nothing on EU on the hourly as well. For the 4-hour time frame, 4-hour time frame, this is too big of a zone. So we don't have any entries on the 4-hour for US 30 gold or EU. So for today, probably just the US 30 trade. So I'll try and stay on longer for Powell's speech today. Because we might see some nice moves. But so the other one is momentum trades. For momentum trades, no valid momentum sell on EU on the 4-hour, no valid momentum buy on EU. If we come back down lower, so here, this is a valid momentum buy on EU at, yeah, this is a valid momentum buy. So if we were to get a spike down later on, this would be a valid momentum buy on EU. So I'll just mark this up. Bring to front. So here the idea would be if price were to reverse to the low of this candle, which is 1.08499, you would expect a spike back up. And you can see we're also in some nice demand zones here. So this would be a nice momentum entry on EU, even when EU does come back down there. But in this instance, I would wait for price to come to the low of the demand zone in order to have enough enough leverage or enough movement. So hopefully we get that move up during Powell's speech, but that's EU. What's the next one? Gold. No valid momentum buy on the 1 hour, no valid momentum sell on the 4 hour, probably nothing as well on gold on the 4 hour and 1 hour. Yep, nothing on gold on this sell right here is invalid. And then we check US 30. This is a nice momentum buy on US 30, but looks like yeah, this one looks like they tapped it. It's probably like a slippage thing, but this was a nice momentum buy on US 30, and they already tapped it earlier on today in the AM. And this was a nice one as well because we had that demand. So you don't want to see like next to the low of that candle being taken out because it means they already picked up that liquidity. This momentum sell was invalid. And then I think we can go to the 1 hour time frame. Okay, so nothing there. And I'll just send this to the group in the trade ideas section. All right, so this already invalidated, so that's fine. So we go ahead and delete this setup. We'll leave this arrow again in case we get like a test and rejection entry or we get any other break and continuation entry, because this just shows us where the demand is on US 30 currently. And there goes the spike. But anyway, I'll hang on maybe till like 10:30 because I want to see what Powell's speech brings. And most likely we'll probably be catching hopefully catch like some of this liquidity pickups here. What else? Yeah, so today is just gonna be a matter of being patient, and we'll see what we have. And I'm also trying to multitask here. Oh, let me see where those order blocks are. 15-minute has too much going on. Let's try turning this one. 38, 520, 38, 440. That's where the 4 hour bullish order block is. Um,
Oh, bro,
all right.
gold's gone. I think
Yeah.
it's an all-time high.
Yeah, I think it already broke that all-time high, right? All-time high was
Yeah,
like 2140 something.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, we'll probably get to like even by today, it might get to 2200. Unless it's forming a double top, but it might go to 2200. Because even if they're gonna drop it, because
Yeah,
there's a lot of order blocks right here on gold. So even if they are to drop it, I wouldn't expect them to drop it, obviously. Because like yesterday, when it hit the all-time high, it dropped like by $20. So but
yeah,
it's gonna depend on what Powell says. So if Powell says a crazy thing about the US dollar. I mean, I have a feeling the US dollar is gonna pump. And if it pumps, gold is gonna drop heavy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just have a feeling the US dollar is gonna reverse and pump, but we'll see.
yeah. I mean, if they do pump it higher, it'd be even better for themselves.
You say what?
It'll be better for the cells. Like if they pump it up more,
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah,
better.
yeah. If the dollar pumps, it will be better for the sales. And you'll see, like right now, liquidity is just gonna die out in the market.
Yeah.
Then you'll have these crazy moves.
Yeah, and even next week, I think there's CPI. So if this CPI, I think they will just carry on dropping it. Very, very likely.
Oh, CPI might. I don't think CPI is gonna be heavy next week because this week we have NFP and we have Powell speaking. So I don't think. I mean, I don't know, but
Yeah, true, true.
probability wise, we just have like too much heavy impact news this week. Because normally, even the times you have CPI and NFP in one, oh no, I'm sorry, FOMC and NFP in 1 week.
Mm,
Um, Either if the FOMC with the press conference gives like a heavy move, NFP normally doesn't have like such a heavy move, or and vice versa. Right. We'll just wait for that 10 a.m. time. Um,
I think
also,
what was it called? How was it? Was it last year? No, no, it was 2022 or last year. Like in this country, like in the UK, when
mhm.
what's it called? We had Boris Johnson.
Uh-huh. Brexit
Boris
or
Johnson. Huh? No, no, no. Boris Johnson, the
the
prime minister.
ex-prime, yeah, the ex-prime
Yeah,
minister.
yeah, the one with
Yeah.
the clown, like his hairs,
Yeah, yeah,
eyes
no,
like
yeah, I know him.
fluffy. Yeah, him. Yeah, so I think he left. Then basically, we had that woman, Liz Truss. You know her,
Hmm.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, and she
and then
resigned as well.
and then we had what's the guy's name? Yeah, the Chancellor. The he was, he was the other guy, Kwasi Kwarteng or something like that. And
Hmm.
so he came in, and you can't just blame it all on him. But I think the interest rates. No, 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 it wasn't the interest rate. Sorry, I think it was, but you know how the government of every country can buy like shares with their currency or something
Hmm.
like that, right? So
Oh, bond.
he
It's
did,
I think it's called bonds.
yeah, maybe I think it was the bonds. Yeah, you're right, the bonds. So he did something with the pound, and the GU dropped all the way. No, I think that was just in October. Wasn't that in October?
The last
Uh,
one I remember mostly was based off of Brexit. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember like uh that one for the interest rates.
yeah, I think it happened last. I think it was last year. I think so. Was it last year? I think so. But all I know is he dropped it all overnight. It dropped heavy. And I think he nearly crushed the pound because the pound. I think the pound is a bit more stronger than the dollar, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So he crushed it nearly, and the pound was like 1 pound was like equivalent to $1.05 or something like that. It's similar, very very close. And basically, I think he sold all the bonds or something, or he did something like that, and he messed up the pound. And then the next day, they, I think they somehow recovered it. I don't know what they did. You know how the government they come in and they save the economy because he crashed it. How can he crash the economy overnight?
Well, that's
Um,
fundamental, right?
yeah,
It's like same thing. Anybody who's in a position of influence, if they say anything, same thing about Powell, right? If Powell wanted, he can collapse the dollar or whatnot, or vice versa. So it's the same thing. It's fundamentals.
yeah,
Uh, Reiterated, Fed is not ready to. So if they're not ready to start cutting interest rates, the US dollar might come back up. So he's appearing before the US Capitol. Just
the interest rates how we can see it on the forex factory. Like, I mean, it doesn't really go into depth, right? So the other
Mhm.
websites are like you know, Daily FX, Daily FX, FX Street. Do they? Well, from what I've seen, I don't know if they really break it down. You know, the interest rates where it breaks it down and tells you whether it's gonna go up or down.
Yeah, but that's just somebody's anticipation. It's not really even, I mean, Forex Factory does that. They do the forecasting.
Mm. So, you know, like before, like right now, are they gonna have they do you know before the Fed before Powell speaks, yeah? So like as of right now, have the OD like stated all right that the interest rates will go up or down?
No, no,
Or is
but
that
today he's not talking about interest rates. Like he's just appearing before Congress. So he's not like, you know, the interest rate news event is the FOMC. That's what FOMC is for.
yeah,
Federal Open Market I think it's Federal Open Market Committee. But anyway, the FOMC press conference, that's when they normally release the interest rates. Today he's just talking about ideally matters of the economy, interest rates, inflation and stuff like that. But mostly when this guy speaks, it's just like markets are just gonna rally. That is the typical thing, like indices and stuff like that.
yeah. In these types of especially these two news, whenever he speaks or testifies, it messes it up.
Not really.
F1,
I mean, it's just like it's just liquidity, right? Price will just go
yeah,
to where it was supposed to go.
true. That's true.
The
But like,
people that's why
yeah,
for the best parts, like it's probably not better to trade when he's speaking or when such a person is speaking. It's best to wait like in the afternoon. Now in the afternoon you'll see some
yeah,
nice moves after the craziness has happened. Now if somebody has, sometimes you can get the move right if it goes the way you expect. Because
yeah,
like for me, I do expect this, US 30 to pump up, but it might first drop all the way to even 38,200 or 100, and then later on in the afternoon it just keeps pumping.
yeah. That's another thing. We know with these news releases when he speaks, another thing that can happen is they reverse the price, and then you know, especially if there's two back-to-back days where he speaks, like tomorrow as well, right? So what could happen is today, like you're saying, that's true. They could maybe drop it first and then bring it back up, like you're saying. That's
Yeah.
another thing. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've seen
Or
that.
you can
I
or you
think.
can keep dropping today and tomorrow, and then during NFP it pumps up.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's true. Yeah,
24
then blast it
hours.
all the way up. Especially if there's back-to-back days of this madness.
Uh, that is 640. So that's a pending one. This would be pending as well. Yeah, so it looks like they're coming close to those liquidity areas. We'll see. I'll stay on until maybe like 10:15 or 10:30 and see if any of this show up. What is this? Test and rejection by uh, man. What else? What else can we go over? That's pretty much it because gold is just pumping. I don't see anything else. Um, oh, there was the EU thing. Uh, what? This is you. So this invalidated. This US 30 invalidated. I would need to wait for another one. We have EU. I will put a. I will put an alert here for EU crossing only once. Mm, Crossing Daily. This is hourly. I'll buy momentum. Play sound. Right. All right, let's see how this one goes. Ah, man, this is gonna be a long wait. Um, uh, uh, right. Um, just need one of these trade setups to validate. Um, let's see something with BTC. And here is 672. That's big of a zone. Um,
So next month, during the Bitcoin, is it the hike next month? April, isn't it? So if they, with the Bitcoin, will it affect gold and FX pairs
you
and
said
US
the
dollar?
hike?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you mean by the hike?
I think it's very likely to be a hike. No, I mean it could be both ways. It could either go up or down, but whichever way it goes, will it affect like FX pairs and
Wait,
indices
next
or
month
yeah,
or
it's
what?
April, isn't it?
Oh, there is? I don't know. There's an what inquiry?
I think so. It's April. Well, it's March right now, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't heard of that. Inquiry from who?
No, I was just seeing it, and people were talking about it, like next month there's something big with Bitcoin.
Unless it's the ETF, the ETF,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't, but I thought that already came out. I know there was, I think, or maybe that was a rumor. The only thing I can think
Mm,
of would be like the Bitcoin ETF, but
mm.
I mean,
It's
I don't think BTC is going anywhere. I think it's just gonna be more regulated. So it might stabilize. Now the question is at what price point will it stabilize? Because I saw like
yeah.
even people like hedge funds, BlackRock, I think BlackRock has a stake in the Bitcoin ETF and all of that. So
Oh yeah, those guys.
yeah. So if those guys are already in, then they already
Yeah.
know stuff. What am I trying to look for?
Mm. Yeah, way ahead, man.
Yeah, BTC. That thing, man, all-time high. And it's so nice. Like price has been spiking so nicely. And ideally for all cryptos as well.
Mm. You know, at some point, like maybe of course not now, but in the future, if you got like £1 million or $1 million account or whatever, like what's the need to trade? I know like you can maximize trading, like trading every day or every other day, but you know, if you think about it, you know, like there's a lot of traders. Of course, everyone's different, but if you think about it, yeah, if you just took one trade, you know how you do those. Let's say you don't even use the um. Let's just say you just go for the beta trades. Like let's just say you hold gold for 100 pips or US 30 for 300 pips because you could do that. You could just like take all your like you could just be more free and you could just put big lot and just make what 10 grand. So you could
Yeah. I
maybe
mean, I
do
don't know.
week.
Personally, if I had $1 million, I wouldn't be trading. I would just put that in a fund that gives a good return.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
just
I mean of
put
course,
it in real estate or something. I don't I just
yeah.
I just wouldn't be trading with $1 million.
Yeah, yeah. I don't mean yeah, trading with $1 million. I remember what you said about that the brokers could take it or they could just like close it or stuff. I meant like if you got a big enough account, let's just say maybe 300K or even 250, let's just say.
That's not a lot of money. Like you
True. It's
have
not
you never yeah, no.
it's not it's not a
You
street.
can blow 200K easy trading, even
It's
100K.
true.
If
It's
you
true.
if
It's
you
true.
haven't if you haven't demoed well,
Yeah.
it
It's true.
depends
It's
on
true.
it depends on what kind of trader you are. But for me,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't want to be trading the rest of my life. I would rather start a trading company and hire people who are very good at managing money or trading.
True.
But I don't think I would, even if I had 300K right now, I wouldn't put it in a trading account. I would do other things
True.
uh, that give you nice consistent income. Real estate is actually very good
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and underrated.
Yeah. A lot
Um,
of guys have. Yeah, they've been seeing there's something like like Airbnbs, but
yeah,
especially like if you do it how you were saying, in like Dubai and stuff. And I think in the future, a lot of those countries will have the opportunities, like because when we were talking about the about cash and all this stuff, it's true what you're saying. It's not really possible for there to be a cashless society, especially in those countries because they've got too many millionaires and billionaires. So places like Dubai, Saudi, all these places, they're gonna be beyond like, and especially with like Airbnbs. What I've been seeing is a few guys have been saying that you don't need to actually own the property. So basically, they just it's not even a lease. They just rent it and then renovate it and then re-rent it out. So if you think about it like that, that's one way. Or like, of course, when you've got a lot of money, then like you're saying, you should just put it into real estate.
yeah. Yeah, either that or I would approach those big firms, Goldman Sachs, whatever, because they normally have like private not private investors per se. They can give you a better return. So I wouldn't put my money in a bank. So I would approach like Goldman Sachs or whatever. So they would be flexible to giving you like a certain amount of return on your trade. So it wouldn't be like a 1% thing. Probably like even a 10% return or something. I don't know. Yeah, but if I ever made a shit ton of money, I wouldn't continue trading. I would create a financial institution. But personally, I wouldn't be in the trading business. Maybe if hire people that are very good at trading and let them do that, because that's also my end goal. But yeah, personally, I don't think I would just use that money for something else.
Yeah, that's true. But like some people, I just think trading is like you just like I mean, true. Maybe when you're older, you don't really want to do it no more. So kind of makes sense.
Yeah, as you get older, man, you just want freedom. As well, I mean, trading gives you freedom and all, but you're still
Yeah.
doing something. You're still doing something. So which is why I'm saying like I would start a financial company and just employ people to do that shit for me. And then you're just like the decision maker.
Yeah. Exactly. But that to get to that level, you're gonna need, like we're talking about, into the big millions.
Not really. If you watch The Big Short, which was uh movie based off of the 2007 market crash, there's these two guys who had, I think they had grown 300K to 3 million in like I forget how in like 10 years or something, which was pretty
Yeah.
good. Uh, so pretty much for them, because if you go to the big players don't really do, this trading that we do. They invest in companies. So they find a company that's undervalued and then they pump the money in. So they're able, if they control a big share of that market or of that company, they are able to appoint their directors to the board of that company, and then they're able to influence decisions. So that's how actually money is made in Wall Street. Very, this trading, if, as much as we call it market makers, it's not really the bulk of transactions on Wall Street. What Wall Street does, they go to those companies that are listed, or maybe they find a company that can be listed on the stock market, and then they invest in it. They make sure it meets the regulations, and then they bring it to the market. So they can find a company that maybe was trading over the counter for like 50 cents a share, and then once they bring it on board into the stock market during the IPO, goes to like $20 a share. So even though they put $1 million in there, that's like maybe $20 million in return or $30 million in return. And ideally, that's how money is made in Wall Street, and not really through like this trading thing is.
Yeah. That's definitely true. The big boys, the, um, maybe just they don't do all the work. They've done the work. Now they just let the money do the work.
Yeah. Mm, I'm waiting for this. We'll wait for this 15-minute and 30-minute setups. If they don't go through, then that will be it. But maybe later on in the day, there'll be some nice opportunities for this US 30. So let's see if this thing's validate.
So, you know how you were saying, you know, like if you think about it, manual trading, of course, anyone that knows how to trade, of course, will definitely be better than any robot. That's definitely true, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
the robots, yeah, in the future, of course, we know that AI will get much better. So the thing is then, do you think you'll be able to like, like not surpass, but do you think you'll be able to maybe replicate? Because, it's very true what you said about robots. These
I mean, the
robots,
question is, what is it surpassing? Because even nowadays, even the EAs that we use, or even AI, it cannot. Yes, it can enter trades by itself, but even the best traders who use, or the best EA traders, they do not let the EA run perpetually. Because
mm,
if you let an EA run perpetually, unless you have unlimited amount of funds such that you can never ever lose, if you let any EA run perpetually, um, I think
yeah,
you're gonna end up losing at some point. So the question would be, so even knowing that the best EA traders have to have some sort of manual intervention, it still negates. I don't think there'll ever be an EA that runs and needs like zero intervention. So I don't think
Yeah,
there's personally, I don't think there's that, because you still need that human intervention of saying, okay, I'm not gonna turn it on at this point, I'm not gonna turn it on at this time. So I think you still need that manual intervention. Uh,
exactly. And on top of that, it will still need to be updated. Or not just
you don't need updates, but
not yeah,
so long as something needs manual intervention, you can't call it fully automated. So I don't
uh,
think there's anything that's fully, I mean, there are things that are fully automated, but I haven't seen any EA that's fully automated that is consistently profitable. Because remember, it's not about making 5% in one day. Even somebody who doesn't know how to trade can even make 200% in one day. The question is, are you gonna make consistent returns over time? So that's a
exactly.
question right there. So if an EA cannot do
Yeah,
that by itself without human intervention, then there's nothing. But if it can do that, but then the only way it can do that is needing human interaction, then that beats the sense. So that beats, the need of
yeah,
saying this is automated, because you still need some sort of human intervention. So
yeah.
this trade setup here, so that would have been the entry because it's test and rejection of this bottom zone. But of course, this is overextended, so I am not taking that, but I marked this up to see where it would achieve a 1:1 risk to reward. So if the trade gets here first before coming back down here, I'll go ahead and forget about it and delete the trade. Uh, Probably then wait for this 30-minute setup. But I don't think we're even gonna get the 30-minute trade setup. So unless US 30 reverses from here, which I do not think, let's see. Yeah, nah, I think it's gonna get to that 1:1 because we have this demand zone here. So I think I'll just look for maybe trade setups later on after 12 p.m. or after 12 noon after Powell is done.
Yeah. Like yeah. So truth is yeah. So like with the EA itself, it doesn't need to be updated, but the VPS does. That's the thing. You get it?
No, you don't even need a VPS. Anyway, for me, I just don't. That is why I started manual trading. I do not encourage use of EAs. If somebody can learn how to manual trade, I don't see the need for an EA. And sure, there are people who
Exactly.
say that, oh, they're always working or they don't have time. I mean, that's true as it is, but unless you're working 24 hours a day, then you should have time to invest to learn manual trading.
Yeah.
I don't think anything can
True.
ever beat manual trading, because even the Wall Street people themselves, they still have to be there. So as much as
Yeah.
even for them, they have to do um or they have systems that help them execute trades, they still have to be there. So
Yeah.
even for the notion that, oh, somebody works too much, that's why they use an EA, I don't get that analogy unless you can tell me, oh, I work 24 hours in a day. I know people
Mm.
who work like 15 hours a day, and then they sit down and learn trading 4 hours or 6 hours
Yeah.
a day, and then they sleep 3 hours a day. So in trading, you can't be sleeping 8 hours a day in trading unless you've gotten to the part that you understand what you're doing. But as a beginner and you want to understand and be a good trader, you can be sleeping 8 hours a day. So anyway, I'm just not a fan of EAs. I don't see a need for EAs, but
Yeah.
there are people
You
who
don't need it.
like them. So
Yeah. You
people are
really
different.
actually. Yeah. You're right. You don't need them because it's not just that you don't need them. It's not like you said. It's true. Like long term, you're very likely you will not be profitable if you don't learn it yourself.
Not
That's the
not
truth.
even that. Like if so, for example, right now, somebody who invested time with EAs and somebody, for example, in the American market, you see what's happening to
Mm.
the prop firms. All prop firms
Yep.
are dropping US clients, and then most of them are moving to futures trading. With futures trading, you cannot use an EA because you can't do both buys and sells at the same time. So if you invested the last 3 years of your life just working on an EA and you're not even profitable, and now that's just 3 years down the road. But if you invested those 3 years as much as maybe you could have been doing 2 hours a day to learn how just one instrument moves,
Yeah.
that's it. I mean, and for me, I haven't seen any profitable or anybody who can say they made millions from trading EAs alone or trading with
Yeah.
EAs alone. Most of those people, even though they do have EAs, they made the money from selling the EA, not trading with the EA. But I've seen people who manually traded, and yes, maybe it took them even 15 years to be profitable, but eventually, yes, they were profitable. But nobody, I haven't seen anybody come out and say, "Oh, I started with 10,000 using this EA and I built it to $5 million," and they can prove that. I haven't seen that. So,
Yeah, that's
um,
true.
yeah.
So
So I mean, that's just my opinion.
it's true. That's just the
Now, if
truth.
somebody showed me that, and now that's an EA I would want to follow. Because even for me, if somebody comes and tells me, okay, can you show your results? Like, I'll pull this up and I'll tell them go on YouTube and see like every single day since, or not every single day, but every
Yeah.
day other than if I was on vacation or whatever, I had a live session, da 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 da. I was taking these trades and that's it. So if somebody tells you that their EA is giving you 10% a month, ask them for their own account, for their own MyFX book, for their own verifiable results, and tell them, because you're the one who developed this, show me how it's working for you. So even for me, knowing that I have my own EA, I haven't been using my EA a lot because I need to invest time to even trade with it, but then I already know how to manual trade. So it's not something that's an emergency for me to say, oh, let me just do this now. And if I wanted to, I can easily market it and make a shit ton of money from it, getting people to
Yeah.
buy it. But I'm not, that is not my interest my interest is not marketing or selling things. My interest is learning how to manual trade and actually executing those trades. But if somebody came to me and told me, these are my verifiable results with this EA, with 10K, I was able to make it 100K in a year. I'll be like, shit, let's, I wanna learn how to do it. Show me how to do it, da 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 da. But if somebody is just coming and saying, oh, I have this EA, I can, it's been this and this, or there's this and this people, like with a lot of these groups, you just see, and I talked about it yesterday, you just see people posting results, but you'll see very few people posting payouts, because what
Yeah. True,
happens
true.
is a lot of people are using demo accounts, so maybe they get even a 500K account or whatnot. So eventually, somehow, they might go into drawdown that would not have survived a funded or a challenge, drawdown
True.
that would not have survived even a regulated broker or whatnot. But then, they just come back and say, okay, I made this amount this time. I made 8%. And I was like that when I first started using EAs, just wanting to show, oh, hey, I'm making, but it's not, it's paper trading. And at the end of the day, you're lying to yourself and you're wasting time that you could then invest in learning manual, or it doesn't even have to be trading, learning other things. But the issue with like where we are in society, a lot of people are fixated on showing. It's like, oh, I'm doing so well, I'm doing good. Like
Yeah.
nobody, at the end of the
That.
day, nobody really cares about that. And
Yeah.
you're lying to yourself. And yeah, that's what I
Exactly.
discovered. And you just end up wasting a ton of time that you could have used doing other but I'm not saying that there are no profitable EA traders. I'm just saying I haven't seen, no, okay, let me rephrase. I'm saying most of the people that use EAs are there trying to show, and some of these are good examples. You find a lot of these people are either posting that in order to scam people or to
Yeah.
drive people to maybe sell, to sell them how to use this EA. But you're
Exactly.
just trying, again, you're just trying to scam some, because if you're posting you're making 5K a week, and then you're like, okay, yeah, let me show you how to use this, and then you DM them, they're like, okay, give me $100. It's like, why do you need $100 if you're making five? Some of these things never add up.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Because I was
that's
seeing
why.
this.
Mhm.
Yeah. So because there was this one guy, like you're saying, most of these EA guys, most of them are not making it from the trading itself. They're making it uh from the from selling it. You know, the price when they sell it. That's where they're
Yeah,
making the money from. Yeah. So there's this one guy, I forgot what his name was, but he was I think you've seen him. He wears that Richard Mille, and he has like he wears those shades, and he's got a Ferrari. I don't know if you've seen him, but it's called what is it called? That
I
bot.
mean,
It's
it's
a
fine.
very
Don't no need to name drop people, but
yeah
yeah. But even ICT mentioned it. ICT is, even ICT
mm,
mentioned, even for him, he's made more money from selling courses than from trading, right? If
yeah
ICT of all people, say that, it's to show you, like, if especially most of these traders blew up during COVID, because during COVID, a lot of people had disposable income, a lot of
yeah
people, right, were exposed to the trading stuff. So, they just got that publicity there and then. So you just do the math. If you end up having 1,000 people in your community and you're selling a course
yeah
for 300,
yeah
that's 300K easily right there. And
exactly
for a lot of people, even back then, you take that 300K, maybe they would have put it in Bitcoin, Dogecoin, or maybe even 100K. You
yeah
put it in Dogecoin, Bitcoin. In 6 months, again, still during COVID or whatnot, in 6 months, the 100K is maybe 1 million. So it's just the compounding. I mean, I'm not saying sales is a bad thing. Sales is not a
yeah
bad thing because everything is sales. The
mm,
the thing I'm normally against is you're selling something, but you're not really helping people to achieve what you told them this product of yours achieves. That is what I'm against, right? Because I wouldn't, if somebody was selling $1,000 product, and I know
mm,
that system, it works with, maybe, right, because nothing is 100%, but I know it has a high probability of working, then I wouldn't feel bad that I spent $1,000, and then I knew that, okay, this person, they're able to show and to show you and tell you how this thing works. Nobody would feel bad about that. But you have all these people who spend a ton of money, and then at the end of the day they end up, feeling so bad, and you never know what situation this person is. So that's just what I'm against. I'm not against anybody selling any product. I mean, shit, I mean, I wouldn't call it sell, but, like, for example,
mm,
my trading view indicators are for sale, but the only reason mine are for sale is because I have to pay for trading view premium in order to host them. I have to pay for this Zoom so that we don't have to keep sending a new link every 40 minutes. So for mine, it's not like the money I make from all these things is not like money that's gonna make me a millionaire in one year or whatever.
true.
But let's
Wait,
see.
you are you wait? I know this is a thing question, but are you like in your 30s?
I'm a millennial. Let me just put it that way.
Really?
I'm a
Damn.
millennial. Yeah,
What?
I mean, this Gen Z are actually doing good. I actually have a video supposed to release today about Gen Z trader. Gen Z, they're actually they're pretty quick. I like Gen Z people because their mind is already opened up and they're tapping into technology very, very nicely. So I actually like Gen Z
You mean
traders.
you mean like the older generation?
No, no, Gen Z is the newer one. Is after millennials, right? Because
Oh,
before millennials is Gen X, so the parents of millennials are Gen X, if I'm not
oh,
wrong.
oh, oh, yeah.
Yeah, so millennials, so you'll see all this, like all this, even these trading influencers, most of them are what, 24, 25. I mean, I like their drive because they're quick to pick up things and quick to pick up technology. Us millennials, I mean, it does take time.
Oh, you're older than most of them, so
Oh
that's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm older than most of them.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
let's
So
let's
I've realized most of those guys that are up, like, especially what I've realized, and think you might have as well. I've realized that the traders usually above the age are much better. Like what I mean by that is they more, especially above the age of 29, 30, they tend to be more like, how can I say? Of course, they've got more experience, but especially I've realized, I think you've realized traders above that age, they tend to have more like this mature think about them. I don't know
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you,
it's
yeah,
yeah, it's pretty chill. Yeah.
yeah,
No, because at some point, as you grow older, you find the joy of life is, as much as money is good, like there are more important things to life than that. You know, health is a big one. Um, just just not having that pressure of life is another one, because I mean, if this community had like three, 6,000, 10,000 people, it's a whole business, right? At that point, it's a business. But there are people who haven't made it a business, and or some have made it a business, but there's no business structure. Like for me, I'm big on things like customer service. So that's why, again, like I'm big on not trying to get people to buy your product, and you cannot support that, or you cannot support them accordingly, right? So for me,
Yeah.
even though I had like a big client base, I would want like a stress-free life, right? I don't want people bugging me every time, oh, when is this or when is this? Right? I don't want that. So as you grow older, you start realizing there are more important things to life than whether it's quick money or whatnot. Like, man, if you can get, yes, the car you've always wanted. You have the house you've always wanted. And for most of this, like, it's not, you don't need $1 million even to do that. Even with 500 grand, even with 500 grand, if you can get a car, it may not be a Lambo, but you can get a brand new Range Rover. You can get a brand new, I don't know what else, Mercedes G Wagon or something. I don't know. Maybe for like
Yeah.
100K, 150, you can get a nice house for 300,
Yeah.
300, 400K. Doesn't have to be in the US, right? Even better, outside the US, 400K house, man, that's a mansion right there. And you have that peace and freedom. So
Yeah. You know, like in the future, especially like America, like I'm not saying that you can't live there. It's just that, like especially Americans, like let's say you go to wherever you go, whatever country you go to, you would still have to like you would still be like under the what's it called? You're still under that bracket. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, oh, how can I say? Paying these charges and all this crap. Well,
yeah, I
even
mean,
when
but
it
you
comes
you
to
you 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 can change your city. I mean, a lot of people, and this is why I'm talking about Gen Zs, right? A lot of
yeah,
people are moving to even places, even within the United States, but not really, even United States territories like Puerto Rico. A lot of traders, like
yeah,
even what's this guy, Swaggy C, I think he moved to Puerto Rico because
yeah,
A,
yeah,
the taxes are good, the weather is good, right? So
yeah, yeah. I
I think
think Jude. Yeah,
eventually a lot of people will be moving outside the United States, this coming generations.
yeah. It's best to just do like you said, the dual national, being a dual national, dual citizenship. So in that way, that means in that way you can now open an account, right? Because if they ask you if you're a US citizen or not, you can just pull out your next citizenship and say, no, I'm actually a dual national. So you
Yeah,
could do
you
that.
get your
Yeah. I think that's what
uh
you should do. I think a lot of
city.
basically most traders should just do that for their own good
Yeah,
at
I
this
mean,
point.
I don't think they should do it just because you should do it because that's what you like. Because I mean, if somebody hasn't been profitable,
Yeah, yeah,
why,
of course.
right? So
Yeah, I mean, like only if they're profitable, of course. If they're not profitable, then of course there's no point. Only those that know what they're doing. Like, in the future, don't you think you should like? I don't think you'd have to, but definitely better. Uh,
I will change this one to, this is a tricky one. Give me 1 second. Let's see. This one has, see this. Mm, this one is based off of. Hmm.
with all these, yeah, all these funded accounts. I know if you think about it, the funded accounts. I mean, it makes sense, but like when you really, really deeply think about it, like, well, of course we know this, like, but not 100K. If you had 100K live, what is the point of having 100K funded, right?
Dude, you
Now,
can blow 100K funded account easily. No,
Exactly.
you can. No,
That's
no,
not
no, 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 not funded. Live account.
true. True. But they both can be blown if you think about it.
But would you rather lose 100K or would you rather lose five hundred
True. True.
dollars?
True. 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 You're right. You're right. You're right. That's definitely true. But what I mean by it is that I mean it's just man,
I think
the
it just
way.
depends on where you are as a trader. Because for me, like right now, if I were to go and ask for equity from private investors and just show them my returns from last year, other than
True.
November, when I had a 2% loss, like if I think when I added this up, it was like 24% gain just for last year because this is 7, 8 plus 6 is 14, 14.5, 16.5. That's 20, 24, 23. Yeah, about 24% in the year. So if I had a
Wow.
100K live account, I would have made 24 grand. Now, yeah, it's not the best thing, but it's my first year of right doing live
Yeah.
trading and all of that. So yeah, like now in my case, if I had, which is why I wanted to open up a big personal account, because at this point I know that with like 1 year-ish
Yeah.
records. And of course, it's not going to be every year, but 1 year-ish records, like I had a 24% gain. So for me, I know that's the case. But if I had recorded this last year and I saw I even blew or I was minus 100%, then at that point, there's no need for me to even think of doing like a personal account or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
so for me, this is why I'm big on, this year I'm big on journaling my trades because at the end of the day, you're helping yourself and you're also finding out what's working for you and what's not working. And at the end of the day, you can always go out there in the private sector. And because there are people who look for, you'll find people who are like, oh, I'm looking for somebody or somewhere to put my money in that's not like the traditional bank or even traditional hedge funds. So you can be like, oh, I've been trading for 3 years. These are my results. These are my documented results, blah, blah, blah. And somebody like that can give you that money, can give you 200K, can give you even $1 million, and then you just trade the way you're used to trading. So
Damn.
I think it's all about planning.
True. True.
Because on the other hand, you can tell them, oh, I've been trading this, or I've been trading with even an EA. But then when they ask you, where are your results, you cannot provide that. So somebody like that cannot give you their money. So nobody can. So even banks, like if you go to a bank and ask them for funding for a loan, what are things they ask you for? They ask you for paychecks. They ask you for your social security. They ask you for your assets, so that they can know
Yeah.
so that they can build that profile, your credit profile. So if a bank can ask you that, then, and I even wondered to myself, why for the longest time as a trader, I never had documented results. Because now you can imagine if I do this thing for the next 10 years and I go to private equity investors or investors, and ask for capital, there's a high chance they wouldn't say no to me because I'm like, okay, I've been doing this and I've been documenting and I can show them my journal, blah, blah, blah. Um, Compared to somebody who can be like, oh, I've been trading for 10 years, but then you cannot see their footsteps in trading. You cannot see how they've been trading. So same thing, if
True.
such a person goes and asks for capital, even
So
though yes, they may have been profitable, they're probably not going to be funded.
yeah.
But anyway, I think that's gonna be it. I was hoping price gets to this point first, but it looks like there's no liquidity in the markets. Looks like we're just gonna be ranging. But I will send these items in. I think I sent EU. What happened to EU? So
EU is too
EU is
slow,
still,
man. I
yeah,
don't
EU
know.
is still pumping. No, no, I know it's too slow.
Yeah.
But what
I
I like
think
about EU, if it chooses a direction or such a FX pair, if it chooses a direction, it keeps going in that direction, like very
true,
nicely.
true. Yeah.
Uh,
But EU, I don't know. Like only when it's like a bait move, like if it's obvious, like a lot of the times. But it just generally, I think, is it because of the liquidity, do you think? Like
no, no,
that's what.
EU is the most liquid FX pair.
Yeah, yeah. I think the ones that are like, like EU, right? because it's such a like used like it's used the currency is used like a lot. Like of course most people are using it in Europe.
Mhm.
So that's why of course maybe it's much more like stagnant, like it's slower. But the problem is it's just too slow. Like you really like GU, it just moves nicely compared to these kind of pairs. I think you've realized, right? Just
Yeah,
much
I
better.
mean, the reason I chose to trade EU was because it had the most liquidity. And for me,
Yeah.
I care more about liquidity than anything.
Yeah, and AU, like odd USD.
Yeah,
I don't
AU
know.
is good too. I think Dean trades, or yeah, Dean trades AU a lot. But yeah, AU is good
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. Apparently, gold affects AUs, and like how we have oil that affects USD CAD. Gold affects AUD USD in it
Yeah,
because
because Australia is like one of the biggest producers of gold. So yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Why it gets affected? And you know how we have USD CHF, USD JPY, and these are good pairs as well. But like GBP CHF, I've realized that the spread is really bad on that, especially those kind of pairs. Even Euro JPY is quite good,
Oh yeah,
right?
actually EJ is a good pair.
Yeah, EJ is a good pair. I don't know why it is, but GBP CHF the spread is terrible. I don't know why it is, but that thing um, doesn't really have such a good return.
All right,
Uh,
man. I gotta drop off. Yeah, the market is
yeah,
too slow. I was hoping we would get this move, but if it comes
yeah,
later, I'll probably take it later on. But anyway, all right,
yeah,
guys.
man.
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Ah, that's
All right, peace.